Oh, it's one of those. Really, it's self-absorbed, but I'm going to try to use it to try to speak to everybody. One of those. I do this before I go to sleep, that way I can get my feelings out there. At least somebody will hear it. Do you have to like what I say? No. But you can at least say, oh, that's where that guy's coming from. It gets late at night, as it is right now, 11:49 p.m. See, for me, midnight isn't that bad. It gets bad when it turns to 1 o'clock in the morning. Then it's truly the next day. But anyway, beyond that. Let me blow my nose right quick here. All right. But you think about who we pawns for. For people like me, I've said this before in other videos, but I'll say it here too. I was never original. I was never the coolest guy in the room. I was the everyday guy. I was the guy you didn't have to talk to every day, that you would just be like, hey, how's it going? Can you take care of that for me? This and that. I was always the kid. Even when I'm 36, I feel like the kid. That's why I feel intimidated. That's why I spend more time by myself, hiding behind hip-hop or hiding behind, some German Wehrmacht, Wehraboo type stuff. You do it because you want to hide behind something. Because you don't want to look at your actual life and who you really are. Think about those 2 jobs today that I could have had. And I had a feeling I knew where each one of them would go. First job would have been some warehouse at FedEx. Out towards, pretty much the middle of nowhere. There is some stuff around, but there's really not much. It would have been a repeat of a job that I had done where I did assembly work, usually the graveyard shift from not really graveyard, but like 5:30 p.m., 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning. This job, it would have been like 4 a.m. to, I don't know, maybe 9 a.m., I don't know, maybe 10. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the 11:35 is good money. And now I probably would be ended up doing another job somewhere else. It's going to be less money. I feel like it's one of those things where you have to, it's a reminder of where you are, and who you are. Keeps me humble. At least that's a cope answer that I give. So express employment, I'll go through the same old bullshit. Fill out the application. Talk to one of the counselors. La-di-da, la-di-da. Take the piss tests. And a couple of days later, they'll give me a call. Maybe I'll be on some job from maybe, 2 or 3 weeks. Make enough money to start taking the prep course. And maybe if I have enough money to take the actual tests for whichever insurance I decide to do. I don't know. I'm thinking a claims adjuster, but I'm not sure if I want to be like a public one or do, I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I'll see if I can BS my way through. Maybe that's part of my problem. Maybe I should actually do it instead of just saying I'm going to BS my way through it. I don't know. A lot of the time I just feel trapped. We all do to a point. You listen to those old Tupac songs thinking it's still the 1990s again. No. When you know that you live in 2021 and you live in a this whole crazy thing, right? I talk a lot of shit about balkanization, this and that. I've truly said I wish it didn't happen this way, and I don't. But I also know that this is a dead society. It is. It's dead. We are zombies. I mean, hell, even George Romero knew that with the whole consumerist ideology, and, which one is it? The one with, I think it's Day of the Dead? I can't remember which one. Anyway, the one where they're walking through the malls and whatnot. Or the mall. It's a dead culture. This idea that you can hold together as one nation. Can't do that. We still have powerful weapons, this and that, but even the F-22 is going to be retired. F-15 is still going strong. It's just an example of culture that's dying, I remember just passing by this one place that did some welding. This old guy, older boomer probably. He was welding a boat, an old aluminum boat or whichever you want to say. And you say to yourself, God damn, As much as I dislike boomers, I also know that they're the last generation that could really take care of themselves. In terms of plumbing or in terms of welding, this and that. There's some millennials and some zoomers that can do that, yeah. But nowhere near the level that boomers had, because they actually taught that shit in school in, the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And maybe the 80s to a point. Generation X, there's a few, but in general, meh. This is one of those cold, hard realities. Millennials and Zoomers are never going to grow up. That's why we still listen to Tupac. We still laugh at memes into our 30s. Because we were never given, as a collective, I should say. Yeah, individuals, once again, were given that. But we as a collective were never given that power. We were never taught those things. So that's why you'll see folks that get older and older, and they're still wearing a FUBU jersey and a do-rag, thinking that it's still 1992 in their head or something. Well, I should say like 1999 in their head. Walking around in 100-degree weather. It's hard to think about. Sad to think about. But this is where we are. I could talk about me. There's no point in that. Wham wham, boo hoo. I always just say I blame myself. And you get to a point where you just accept the fact that you're expendable, that you're never going to be given the full responsibility of an adult. That when you get money, you spend it. It's definitely me. And you feel like you wish that your parents were harder on you. Or you wish that you had learned something. Like I say, this isn't any this is pretty doomer, I'm sorry. But it's just one of those sober things, when you... Now, of course, it's turned to midnight. And it just kicks in, right? That's why you stay up and you watch videos from Military History Visualized talking about the Panzer Grenadier commandments. Knowing that time is long, long past. I read about Malcolm X, and of course Malcolm X's birthday was today, the 19th. And you have to say, his daughter, I believe named after Kublai Khan, very pretty. I'm not going to pour any post too hard, but very pretty. I've seen her, interviews and stuff, but she plays into the same system where it's like, yeah, Asians and all this, they can all get along. And they're all fighting for racial justice and all that. I don't know. Even when I do become an insurance agent of some sort, or, some person working in the insurance industry, I'll put it that way, for however long. May not last that long, and I'll end up doing something else. Probably so. But I'll still feel like a child to some degree. People will still talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Or they'll talk about football, this and that. As people do, or they'll talk about their relationships or whatever, and just kind of blindly stare off into space. Just kind of aimlessly doing my job, this and that. Trying to hide the fact that at best, I'm mediocre. I don't expect tears. I don't. While I can cope, and I can hope, and everything else in between, I've made my choices. They probably weren't the best choices, but I made them. I could have stayed in the army. I could have. And left this decaying city, as so many cities are in the U.S. that are decaying. Went through so many emotions today. because I really didn't want to do that FedEx job. And then the life insurance job came in. And I said, yeah, you can make all this money, this and that. Yeah, you can get 70%. And I looked at the thing, and it's plain as day. The hustle was too obvious. They'd give me a discount if I took their test prep for the license for practicing insurance in Texas. They do that so it's harder for you to leave their company. So I would be stuck doing that job. So that was probably for the best. I argued with my mom about it, but she was right. And then I sobered up a bit more by watching videos about claims adjusting and, about independent adjusting, basically going around the country, having licenses in various states, Texas and Indiana being reciprocal, and getting states all over. I heard another one that New York is a good state to have a license. That way, when storms hit and whatnot, you can come in and, according to the guy I was watching this channel, is that you spend about an hour at a place and then move on. You take your pictures and you get all the information you can, and then you move on to the next one. You get about 6 or 7 a day just traveling around. It's a hell of a life. It's also another problem of mine is that you live in these fantasies of what you should be. Spend hours talking to myself, pretending I would be some tough gun runner, something like that if the Civil War broke out. Selling guns and being a trickster and a hustler. It's unrealistic. I know it is deep down in my heart. But you do it so you don't have to deal with reality. That's why I did it. But now finding a real job and not just staying in my little pretend world and my little me pretending to be a political commentator, I have to face the real world. And I have to interact with real people. It doesn't necessarily scare me, but it does make me it makes me wonder, what am I going to talk about? How am I going to deal with it? I don't know. I made another video about this before, but I feel like this one is a little more unvarnished, a little more mask off. It's interesting to think about, isn't it? The dead air is supposed to be somewhat dramatic. I'd like to think anyway. I don't know. Going on for almost 20 minutes now. I'll cut it pretty soon, don't worry. It's just something to think about. I used to get tons of DVDs. Now I have so many books on the shelf that I'll never read. Maybe I'll start reading that Malcolm X book again. Probably will. Just been taking a little break from it. Try to finish it up. It is about 500 something pages, so it's a hell of a book, but I think it'll be worth it to read. Oh, Lord have mercy, huh? Wish me luck, folks. Wish me luck. I don't know how many videos I'm going to put out if I do actually get a job pretty soon. And I have to study for this licensing exam for the state of Texas. Whichever one I'm going to take. I'm not sure yet. I did say adjuster, but I'm not tied to that. And like I say before, a little intimidated by being a claims adjuster. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can muster up, if I can measure up. Or at least measure up enough so that I can stay along. So that I can stay on. Maybe I can find a little piece of independence away from my parents. And try not to live in a fantasy where I just watch kung fu movies or read about World War II or, I don't know, pretend I'm Malcolm X. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. If y'all don't like this sort of self-indulgent type video, I completely understand that. But once in a while, it's good to actually put out the videos as a form of therapy. That's what I see these videos as. I've always said that. It's a form of therapy for me. If you can glean something from it, more power to you. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. See you later, and a goodbye.